Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paola, and today I'm with the incredible debut author, Amparo Ortiz. So,
Hi.
would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Blazewrath Games?
Yes, well, hello everyone. My name is Amparo. I wrote Blazewrath Games, which is this a book right here. If you haven't seen the cover, it's this cover. Woo! Wait, I think there. You can see it better now. So, yes, this is a young adult contemporary fantasy with a Puerto Rican main character, and she is trying to represent her country in the Blazewrath World Cup, which is basically the World Cup with dragons. And not only does she want to represent her country, she's also trying to navigate a conspiracy within the sport and the tournament itself.
It's a very cool, very intense book. I say intense because there's
Thank
a lot of
you.
action there, and it's great.
Yes. Yes, there's a lot of action, and I feel every time someone says, "Oh, this was action packed," I'm like genuinely shocked, even though it's a tournament with dragons. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? And also I wrote it, so I'm like, I don't know why I'm shocked.
It is very action-packed, more action-packed than what I was originally anticipating, which made it even better. Um,
That's good to
so,
know.
so what inspired you to write this story?
Well, it was mostly just this desire to see dragons in a sport that wasn't like a horse race or like
Hmm.
genuine like jousting. Originally this idea was jousting inspired, like medieval sports, but then I realized that that would be a little ridiculous coming from me specifically. I feel like if other authors want to do that, they should, but my version of it was not good. So I was like, okay, which other sport do I connect with, or do I have to create a completely different sport? So it was just a mix of me loving the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup, and like watching it in 2014, just watching the final match. And I was like, that's it. It's with dragons, but it's soccer inspired. And obviously, my main character is Puerto Rican, but she's not living in the country anymore. And I was like, oh, so it's going to be a diaspora story, but it's going to be focused on cultural identity and all of this. But also, there's murder and there's explosions and fire and all of this. And there's a fight for glory, for sports glory, and
Mhm.
no romance. That's interesting. I mean, there is romance like in the backdrop, but like my main character is not like falling in love in this book or anything like that.
Hmm.
So basically, it was just me wanting Puerto Rican representation in fantasy that was both very ambitious because of dragons in our world, but it was very much rooted in our world. Like it was a
Uh-huh.
contemporary world, but just with wands and dragons.
Awesome, which was awesome.
Yay!
So, who did you write this book for?
I wrote it for myself mainly because I'm selfish, but also for people who were looking for mythical creatures such as dragons, um, or magic in terms of witches, wizards, or magic users in general. But they wanted something that they've never seen before, and they wanted maybe to read about a tournament that wasn't entirely about like a maze or something that we're very familiar with. I wanted to kind of challenge that in terms of what we're adding to the canon instead of what we're, how do I say it, like repeating. Like I didn't
Okay.
want to repeat things, but I wanted to do it from the perspective of someone who is Latinx, specifically Puerto Rican, because I feel like even though my main character does not ride dragons, and she's not a witch. Like, I
Mm.
love the fact that she is a regular, which is the term that we use in this book for people who have no magical ability and are not dragon riders, although there are regulars who are also riders. Actually,
Mhm.
it's more common to find regular dragon riders than wizard dragon riders or
Mhm.
magical dragon riders. So I really wanted to explore that. What makes someone fascinating if they're not as fascinating as others in this world, which is based in magic or rooted in magic?
Mhm.
So I was like, oh, I'm writing this for myself, but I also think that other people would like to see this.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm wrong. And it turns out I wasn't. So I'm very happy about that. past me. Way to go.
It's a very interesting story, and everything that you just mentioned is there, and you can not only see it like textually, but also feel it. So that's pretty powerful stuff. So concerning dragons and the magic system and how it is somewhat rooted in reality because it is a contemporary fantasy, what was the world building process like?
It was long because I immediately knew that I wanted dragons in the world, and I also knew that I wanted wizards and witches and magical users or magic users, but I didn't know what would set them apart from the magic users that we've seen in other fictional worlds,
Mhm.
both in film, television, and in literature. I was like, okay, great. What is going to make these different and worthy of people's attention? So I immediately, as I was drafting it, I didn't have an idea of what the actual difference in terms of magical ability was going to be like. I figured that out as I was drafting. I literally sat down, and I don't know if you remember this, but there's a scene where my main character is in a wand shop.
Mhm.
And in that moment, as I was drafting that scene, I was like, oh, there are three types of wizards. There's the copper wands, the silver wands, and the gold wands, and only the gold ones have the ability to kill dragons, or to destroy. They have destructive abilities. So that became a huge part of the world building, the limitations within each level of magic, and what each dragon could do. Because Puerto Rican dragons are the only ones who can light their bodies on fire. They also have other abilities that develop throughout the book, but they're the only ones who can do that, and they are the only dragon from the Caribbean in multiple numbers,
Mhm.
because Haiti has one dragon, so they can't compete in the cup. You need at least six, and or you only need six. Yeah, if you have five, you can't go to the cup. So it's like you have to have six.
Mhm.
And yeah, I was like, as I was drafting, and that first draft is actually almost 500 pages long. It's a monster. And I wrote it like on and off for 12 months because of the hurricanes in 2017. So I was like slightly concerned about what I was building, but also like excited about it. But I was completely clueless until I sat down and wrote the whole thing, which is why it was so long, because I was figuring out the world as I wrote it, because I did not plan or outline anything.
Whoa, that
I
is
I've
impressive.
since yeah, no, I've since changed my ways. I have gotten wiser with time, so now I outline. But that book was just a mistake. That first draft was a huge mistake in a lot of ways. But yeah,
Wow. Wow.
it's a
Like
lot. It's
I'm
a
just
lot.
impressed.
Oh, thank you, but no, don't be. It was a mess.
So what is it like to have your debut coming out amidst this, you know, thing that's happening in the world?
It's chaotic, and it's uncertainty times 1,000. Like, I feel that before, when I first heard that this book was getting published, that it sold, I was shocked that it was going to come out a year later. Like, it was just, I expected, they were acquiring, my publisher acquired it in July of 2019, and I expected at least like a winter 2021 release. But they were like, oh no, it's coming in fall 2020. And I was like, why? That's really soon. But I, of course, was expecting some chaos in terms of scheduling and how I was going to manage my time. But now that I have more responsibilities, because I'm a college professor and we're virtual right now, so all of my work is with the computer. I no longer have to see anyone in person, which is great. Um, but like in general, not just because of, I don't see my students. It's like in general, society is a frightening place to spend time in. But I feel like the fact that, for example, a lot of authors had their release dates pushed back, some even to next year. So I'm still like a month and a half away from my pub date as we're speaking now, but that could change. Like,
Mhm.
nothing is guaranteed in general, but now it feels like it's even more of a bigger, more real reality like a more tangible reality.
Yeah, no, I cannot even imagine because, yeah, this whole year, not just in the publishing industry, but for everyone, it's been so weird to say the least.
Yeah.
And it's just very, very chaotic. But I have faith and hope that your book will find its readers amidst the pandemic, amidst everything that's happening. People need stories anyway. So I have hope they're going to read it and enjoy it and love it and shout about it. And it's going to be great.
I don't have like romanticized ideas of what a launch is. I very
Mm-hmm.
much went into this knowing that this is a book that I don't think a lot of people are excited about in terms of just like, oh, another dragon book, you know? But I feel like, or another like more wizards, great,
Mm-hmm.
exciting, you know? Like people are going to have their prejudices and their interests and their likes and dislikes, and that's perfectly fine. So I really wasn't like expecting any sort of huge uproar in terms of enthusiasm, but I have had a lot of close friends who have been very supportive of me. And I've discovered wonderful people like yourself that I didn't know prior to becoming an author, like a published author,
Mm-hmm.
or on my way to becoming published. It's like people like that become community, like your personal community, because you feel like people see you and people understand what you're trying to do and they want you to do it and they are helping you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been great. And that's lessened the stress and chaos of the whole situation that we're living through. But yeah, it's still chaotic and stressful.
So, moving on to a little bit of a lighter topic, I really like the fact that there's a little bit of everything in this book, and it's all like in the details concerning Lana's interests and likes and hobbies and stuff. So my favorite part about that was that she listens to K-pop. So
Yeah. I wonder where
um,
she got that from. I'm not aware.
So I was wondering that if the Puerto Rican players have bias and where like or if they have a favorite K-pop band, who are they and who are their biases?
Right. Well, let's assume that everyone on the team listens to K-pop and loves it, because
Mm-hmm.
I personally would love that to be the case. I feel like Lana, her favorite group is Monsta X, and that is canon. That is in the book. Um, so her bias would be Minhyuk or Minhyuk. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong. Minhyuk, because he's like very happy and cheerful and uplifting of others, and that's who she surrounds herself with. Her best friend Samira is similar to that. Um, and her father is very supportive in his own way, but he's supportive, not so much her mom, but she definitely latches on to people. Even her favorite athlete, he was this type of person. He was very positive and like trying to uplift others. And the captain, Hector, I think that his bias would be RM from BTS because because I feel like he would admire his leadership skills and he would admire his talent as a rapper. I feel like he would only listen to rappers. So yeah, or not listen to only them, but like support them more, like stand them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Gabriela, who is one of the Chargers on the team, she's super into fashion and makeup. So she would be into idols that are super visually oriented, who like experiment with their looks. So like back to BTS, V I think would be her bias there. Um, but in terms of women, Lisa from Blackpink, like she would just latch on to people who were very experimental with their fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in terms of like Hennessy's, who is one of the bloggers on the in the group, I feel like her bias would probably be someone like my ultimate bias in K-pop, which is Park Jin Young from GOT7, because I feel like she would like an educated, well-read man who is also very sarcastic and trolls people that he cares about. So that's actually my type. So you know, um, and I feel like others would, for example, Luis, he is one of the chargers as well, and he's like super into reggaeton. So I feel like he would also stand rappers,
Mhm.
but like party vibe rappers, like rappers who would like Got Seven's Bam Bam or Jackson, and J Hope from BTS, like that style. That would be a style.
Mhm.
And Edwing and Victoria, I feel like those would be the members who would least attach themselves to K-pop. So I feel like they would be like more like casual listeners
Okay.
of the genre. But they would still be
Ooh.
like, oh, this is music that is fun. It's just not for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But everyone else would like it.
Oh, interesting. I love that. That really speaks to how well you know your characters.
Yes, they have no other choice. I made them come to life.
So continuing on with the K-pop theme in this interview. What K-pop song do you say that is the theme song for Blazewrath Games?
Well, I love Monsta X's Fighter
Mm-hmm.
because it is a love song, but it's about not giving up and going after what you want. And it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, you get back up and you believe in yourself and you think that this is your path. So you're going to fight for it. And you're a fighter because you not only know where you're going, but you know that you're going to get there. And I feel like that's what Lana feels. I mean, she has her doubts when she starts trying to belong on the team or find her place within this group, but she knows that Blazewrath is why she was born. So she's got that down. She's passionate about that. And also her position is runner. So she's great at running. She
Mm-hmm.
is a track and field type of athlete, but she is bad at martial arts, which is another part of
Mm.
her position. She has to know how to, or not know, but she has to be great at running quickly, but she also has to know how to fight and defend herself because there are sections within the game that force her to confront a rival team member
Mm-hmm.
in a little bit of fisticuffs. But yeah.
Excellent choice. I will
Yay!
leave the link to that song down below so that
Ooh,
everyone can listen to
nice.
it. Uh,
Enabling my K-pop dreams. Very good.
yes, always. And so, lastly, would you like to talk about your upcoming projects?
Well, the one that I can say a little bit about is Saving Troopy, which is a graphic novel for middle grade readers. That one comes out in 2022, so a little bit of a way still. But it is a middle grade contemporary fantasy again, and it features a 12-year-old girl who is from the States, but her grandmother is from Puerto Rico. She comes to Puerto Rico to help her rebuild or reopen her restaurant after Maria, Huracan Maria.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're in the process of reopening this restaurant, they discover that a local chupacabra is wreaking havoc on the town. And so now she's like, your face is everything.
Whoa, that sounds so cool. So interesting. Like Chupacabra, middle grade, and a restaurant.
Yes.
Sign me up
She's
immediately.
like, I'm there.
Yes, I am there.
Well, yeah,
That
it's just
sounds so
like 2 years
interesting.
away. But yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm actually doing some back matter stuff right now for it. I'm
Mhm.
adding some information to that specific book right now. But yeah, there's other stuff in the pipeline that I would love to tell you about, but I'm hoping that we can share soon. So,
Exciting. That's
yay!
so, so exciting. So, okay, thank you so much for doing this with me, Amparo. I hope
Of
everyone
course.
is happy about this book. I hope everyone knows, pre-order it already. I will leave links to, pre-order links. I will leave links to what I just said, the K-pop song and Amparo's website and her socials so that you can check her out. She also has a YouTube channel. So,
Yes.
everything will be in the description down below so that you can check it out. Thank you so much, Amparo,
Yeah,
for doing this with me. Thank you, everyone,
of
for
course. It was an
watching.
honor.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.